How to be a director. Step 1. Be a man. Well, I don't want to do that. Okay, let's start again. Step 1. Film a city. Yeah, and put it in black and white. Like Woody and Spike. That's good, but it needs something, something like music, yeah. Step 2. Add some jazz. That's an attention grabber. Step 3. Physically put myself in the film, like Woody and Spike. Step 4. Get bored. No. Okay, again. Step 4. Be impressed, like Woody and Spike. Gaze up at the skyscrapers, pricking the atmosphere with their phallocentrism. See them as symbols of American innovation and initiative, not figureheads for capitalism. Step 5. Film lots of men, and I mean lots of them. Catcall them even. Call them ugly when they reject you. Make them feel unworthy of your time, like Woody and Spike. Step 6. Keep looking up, or notice how the city treats its people. They pile at the foots of the buildings, while the others are forced to leave. Step 7. Like it. Enjoy it. Glorify it. Make it yours. Make it yours. It is yours. It is yours. All directors own a city. All directors own a city. The 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 city. There's no place like the city. Isn't that how it goes? No, something's not right. There's no place like home. Ah, that's better. Powder Springs. Gunpowder Springs, to be exact. Oh, the bookstore. I love this place. This is where I got my favorite book and learned so much about.
Toni Morrison seems always to be in two worlds. There is the visible world bustling around her, and there is the world of her novels, whose characters tell us about an interior reality hidden from the eyes of strangers.
You could feel the address of the narrator over my shoulder, talking to somebody else, talking to somebody white. I could tell because they're explaining things that they didn't have to explain if they were talking to me.
Who am I really talking to? Have I watched too many male-centered movies? Have I internalized their psyche and forgotten myself and my home? If Toni Morrison knew about the man on my shoulder, imagine what Bell Hooks must think of my films. She's probably laughing at me.
I'm Bell Hooks, and I'm speaking freely. I mean, it's been really exciting for someone like me, both in terms of the personal desires I have to remain bonded with the working class culture and experience that I came from, as well as the sort of Southern Black aspect of that.
Being a director is confusing when you don't know where to look and who you are. What do you think?
Women of color in their own particular context have been told when to look and how to look. And there's a lot of policing around what women see. If you take it from the context of Bell Hooks and her essay on the oppositional gaze, I mean, the opening of that essay talks about how Black folks on the plantation weren't allowed to look. They weren't allowed to look at white people. They weren't allowed to look sometimes at anywhere else but the labor at hand. And that is a policing function to maintain power. If we look at other parts of the world, I could talk about this in a South Asian context in India. I could be wearing full on Indian garb and not even open my mouth so nobody would know what my accent is. And people would stare at me. And I would ask my family, well, why is everyone staring at me? And they said, because you're looking, right? There's a body language associated with American women, having your head held up, looking at everything, taking everything in. There are a lot of places in the world that don't allow women to do that. And I'm not saying that the US is super liberatory in any type of way. I'm just saying this to say that we may not think that our gazes are policed, but they absolutely are. They are here and they are in other parts in the world. And it's in that kind of policing is used to maintain masculine power. So when women look, they can take stock of what's around them and they can learn to evaluate where they sit in a matrix of power, that they are no longer passive, that is to be looked at, they are active, right? And they're looking back in these kind of defiant ways that can make certain systems of power very uncomfortable, productively uncomfortable. And then the next step after looking back, right, is creating something different, right? So you don't just stop at defiantly looking, you begin to redefine the world around you, right? Or you begin to envision the world differently. And of course, that's always revolutionary.
I don't know why I went to the city to be a director, when this is the place I know. This place full of tragedy and black triumph, culture and critique, reconstruction and revision, community and love. Here, I can look up without worry, and I can look down at where I've been. But most importantly, I can look forward.